The first thing nobody tells you about small apartment design is that most people are trying to answer the wrong question. The question most people start with is, how should this apartment look? What style? What palette? What furniture? It seems like the right question, and it produces a specific kind of result. Apartments that look like the reference images and feel somehow unlike them. Rooms that are visually correct and experientially flat. The question that produces better results is different. How do I want this apartment to feel? Not as a vague aspiration, but as a specific, articulable brief. Calm, warm, energizing, private, alive. Once you have a clear answer to that question, every subsequent decision has a test it can be held against. Does this color serve the feeling I am trying to produce? Does this piece of furniture contribute to it or complicate it? Does this arrangement support it or work against it? The look follows from the feel. When you design for feel first, the look tends to arrive as a byproduct of getting the feel right. When you design for look first, the feel tends to remain elusive regardless of how good the look becomes, because the feel was never the question being answered. Everything on this channel starts from this principle. Before any other video, any other tip, any other technique, decide how you want the apartment to feel. That answer is your brief, and without it, nothing else has a standard to be held to. The second thing nobody tells you, and the one that changes the most once it is genuinely understood, is that small space is almost never the actual constraint preventing an apartment from working. The real constraints are almost always decisions. A piece of furniture scaled incorrectly for the room. Lighting that came from one overhead source rather than from multiple warm ones at human height. Storage that was never integrated into the architecture and now sits in the room as freestanding furniture consuming floor area. A color chosen for its appearance in a reference image rather than for how it behaves in this room's specific light. These are decision problems, not size problems. And the reason this distinction matters is that decision problems can be solved without adding a single square meter. The small apartments that feel genuinely spacious and genuinely livable are almost never the ones that found a way to seem larger than they are. They are the ones where every decision was made correctly for the specific space, so that the space's actual dimensions became irrelevant to how it felt to be inside it. The constraint was never the size. It was the decisions made without full understanding of their consequences. This means that the most useful thing you can do for a small apartment is not to find tricks that make it look bigger. It is to find and correct the decisions that are working against the space, and most of those decisions are the ones covered elsewhere on this channel. The third thing nobody tells you is about sequence, and it explains why people who know all the right principles still end up with apartments that do not quite work. Most people add before they remove. They buy before they decide. They focus on style before they have resolved function. And they start with the individual object before they have established the whole. The sequence that works is the reverse of the instinctive one. Remove before you add, because you cannot see what a room actually needs until you have cleared what it does not need. Decide before you buy, because a purchase made without a clear brief answering the question it is supposed to answer is a purchase that will probably be replaced. Resolve function before style, because a beautifully styled room that does not function for the life being lived in it is decoration, not design. And establish the whole before the parts, because individual objects chosen without reference to the room's anchor, its palette, its proportional system, will feel like they belong to different rooms even when they are all in the same one. This sequence is not complicated, but it is consistently backwards from what feels natural when you are standing in an apartment that you want to fix, because the instinct is to add something that will make it better, and the sequence says the first move is almost always to take something away. Before style, before furniture, before color, there are three things in any small apartment that determine whether everything else works or fights the room. Get these three right and most subsequent decisions become easier. Get any one of them wrong and no subsequent decision can fully compensate. The first is light. Not the quantity of light in the room, but its quality, where it comes from, how it changes across the day, whether it is the kind of light that tells the nervous system what time it is and what it is supposed to be doing. A room with wrong quality light feels wrong before anyone can say why, and no amount of correctly chosen furniture or color will resolve it. The second is the anchor. Every room needs one element that everything else relates to, one piece that tells the room what it is organized around and gives the eye a clear place to begin. Without it, a room full of good individual decisions feels unsettled because there is no hierarchy for the eye to read. The third is flow, the paths along which daily life actually moves through the apartment. Furniture arranged without accounting for movement produces daily friction that accumulates into the background, feeling that something is wrong with the space, even when nothing is visually obvious. Light, anchor, flow. These three are the foundation. Everything else is built on top of them. And this channel has individual videos that go deeper on each one. The last thing nobody tells you is about when to stop, and it explains why so many apartments feel almost right, but never quite there. Most people treat the finish line as the moment everything has been placed. The furniture is in position, the art is hung, the accessories are arranged. The room looks finished. They stop here, and the room stays almost right. The actual finish line is 2 stages further. The first additional stage is the living test, spending enough time in the room to discover what it is still asking for that it is not yet getting. This cannot be done on the day the room is arranged, because the room has not yet been lived in enough to reveal its remaining open questions. It requires time, a week, sometimes more, before the final gaps become visible. The second additional stage is the finishing layer, the small, precise adjustments that close those gaps. The object removed after a week of living with the room and realizing it was one too many. The lamp repositioned twice before it found its correct height. The artwork rehung 3 centimeters higher after looking at it for a month. These are not corrections to earlier mistakes. They are the completion of a process that the first arrangement only began. Almost right is not the same as complete. The gap between them is where most apartments live permanently. Crossing it requires returning to a room that already looks good and asking, with genuine attention, what is it still asking for? These 5 principles are the framework. Everything else on this channel is an application of one or more of them to a specific context. If Principle 1 resonated, the question of how your apartment should feel, the videos on specific aesthetics and city-based design approaches will give you language for the feeling you are trying to produce. Japanese calm, Parisian chic, Scandinavian comfort, London cool. Each is a different answer to the same question, and understanding how they work helps clarify your own answer. If Principle 3 resonated, the sequence problem, the videos on removal and editing will give you the specific process for applying it. What to remove first, in what order, and what each removal reveals. If Principle 4 resonated, light, anchor, and flow, the videos on lighting, on negative space, and on timeless design decisions go much deeper on each of the 3 foundations and give you specific, actionable tools for getting them right. And if Principle 5 resonated, the finish line, the videos on small details and curated apartments are about exactly that last stage, what the finishing layer looks like and how to apply it. This channel exists to go deeper on all of it. Subscribe and start with whichever principle felt most relevant to where your apartment currently is.